Say it with me, folks. Autism!
FaM, the movement that we all grew up with. The movement that we all aspire to be like. The movement that inspired guys like myself to really get into car. Has become nothing more than a bully's playpen. Unfortunately, I was a part of that playpen. I've seen the dirty shit that goes on there. I've seen the hurtful things that they've said to people. And it's time that somebody came out and truly exposed them for what they are. Take a look at the following evidence with an open mind. Thank you.
I respect those who don't make fun of people who can barely speak English, and most goddamn definitely, I respect...
The first clip that we have here is from DNA's famous 20-minute video. This video talks about Deshaun Walton and his many car escapades. You see, this time our boy Deshaun has cut an in-character promo, like the clown he is, on an out-of-character issue that he has with Buster, Crasis, and the rest of the FaM fellas that are pieces of shit. So, I'm gonna let this play, and I hope you see what I'm talking about.
Now, I would like to, quite literally, show you how this man reacts to the word autism. Enjoy.
Most importantly, I respect those who don't make fun of people with mental health issues. I respect those who don't make fun of people who can barely speak English. And most goddamn definitely, I respect, appreciate, commend, and love those who don't make fun of people who have autism.
Well, I can't speak on the other things, but when I use the word autistic, I use it in the same vein that you would use the word fuck when you say fuck you. It doesn't mean you literally want to have sex with the person, but that's what makes me think that you might be on the spectrum, because you take everything I say fucking literally. Say it with me, folks. Autism!
It's very hard for me to believe that, as somebody non-biased in this conversation, when you have your friends posting Exhibit A or Exhibit B or Exhibit C, D, so on and so forth. But it's okay. You'll get them next time, champ. Let's continue the DNA quotes, and we'll get more into the rest of them later on. One more thing before we begin. If you hear any comments about mental health, mental awareness, I am sorry, but this needs to be put out there for everyone to hear.
What's pathetic is making fun of people who have grown up watching your shit.
Wow, this just reminds me of like some real Stan shit, huh? Are you gonna fucking put your girlfriend in the trunk and drive off of a bridge next? Is that what your next plan of this Stan fucking plan is? But when I use the word autistic, I use it in the same vein that you would use the word fuck when you say fuck you.
My mental health issues are not, and never were, the fault of Tim.
Yeah, I know nothing about your mental health issues, and I don't really give a shit. Hopefully you get help. Not surprised either. Yeah, not surprised.
Let's also not get into the fact of blatant homophobia seen here.
Got to where you're at? Where the fuck are you? You're still just some dumb wrestling faggot on the fucking internet. You're not a fucking star. Nobody gives two shits about you. That's why your videos don't get 1,000 or 1,000,000 views, because nobody gives two flying fucks about Dash and Walton. Say it with me, folks. Autism!
You know, you talk about the success that FaM's had, and there's no doubt that you guys have been successful in the past. However, when you view your fans like the following, I don't think you can really talk to anybody about how things are. Because if you don't believe what you're saying from a marketing point of view, then how do you expect others to want to buy on to the amount of bullshit that you're feeding them. Let's play the clip, shall we?
You fucktards still don't get it, do you? Uniting the community was marketing. Just like if Pepsi said, we want to unite the world with Pepsi, it's less about uniting the world and more about selling Pepsi. You fucking dumb fucks.
There you have it, folks. DNA just wants you to tune into the show so that he gets a personal kick out of it. He doesn't care about who tunes in, who doesn't. It's all just a game to him and Rom, and truth be told, the next set of info will just prove that even more. But regardless, we're still going over his 20-minute rant video, which was actually 30 minutes, on Deshaun Walton. And there's definitely a lot of juicy material that you can pick out from this video alone. So, as we get further, again, I apologize to my audience for having to hear some of the rhetoric used in this video, but it needs to come out that this is who FaM has truly become. Enjoy.
There he was, folks. Just about to swan dive off the fucking overpass and land as a big splatter on the highway, when all of a sudden, the sound of a whisper in the wind, a distant call of a bird, came to him. Caw! Caw! And he stepped down off the overpass and dedicated his life to have new meaning.
As someone who grew up watching people like DNA, people like Rom, people like what was seen here, it's very disappointing to see that they're really like this. They're, as I've shown you so far, making fun of suicide, they're going into blatant homophobia, they're being a part of this movement once was a dream come true for me. I always had an aspiration to go into FaM, and when I got there, I felt like I truly made it. For years I spent in the community, trying to work there, trying to make my name, and I never felt like people appreciated that work. And then when I got to FaM, it's like, oh, they see my talent, they see what I can do. The following screenshots on screen are mainly talking about how Rom hired me to become a leadership position in FaM, just so everybody is aware, and I'm not lying to the audience, I'm not making this up. There's just screenshots from my old iPhone right there. You'll see a lot of Galaxy screenshots as well, so don't worry about that. But it's very shameful on what the movement that I grew up watching has become. As you have these ignorant children such as Crasis running the show. And we're gonna get into Crasis in a little bit, but like FaM has become a child's plaything. They don't spend any time working on the shows really. They just spend time on, well, I'll say it bluntly, talking shit in their secret chats. Now the 3 secret chats are gonna get exposed later on. Well, actually I exposed it earlier. But like, sometimes they don't even talk till like November in the chat, and there'll be a screenshot later on in the video from like October. It's almost pretty sad that this is what they're doing to their audience, to their fan base, etc. And I felt like I needed to come out and speak out against this because I felt like I was under that same brainwashing. And I need to come out and I need to fix this for everybody, because this isn't fair towards autistic people, this isn't fair towards anybody. And don't think I don't notice you, Cash. I'm gonna get into you soon. First and foremost, the apology message that Ron put out on his page after the whole dressing his call up on Black Lives Matter merchandise. I helped to formulate that apology. I was the one who told him to unblock all of the people that he blocked Because it isn't fair that you're apologizing to your audience when you should be apologizing to those people that you offended. So, I made him apologize for that, and you can see that in the screenshots there. And even then, he's ready to insult guys like Sifo, and it was just ridiculous.
As for this part, to me, Nova got threw under the bus by Rom. Nova didn't have any bad intentions or any hurtful intent when he suggested the idea in the chat, as you can see in the message here. But instead, looking back on it now, I realized that Nova only wanted to do something good, but was going about it in a wrong way. And I really feel apologetic in a sense to Nova that he was done dirty like that by not only myself, because I thought he should be held responsible at the time, but by everybody else there. So on behalf of them, I do apologize to you, Nova, and I hope wherever you are right now that everything's going good, that life is great, Shrek is love, Shrek is life, and, you know, I hope everything's cool. I look forward to seeing you again. Maybe one day we can sit down and have a talk about this. But I'll never have a problem with you, Nova. You were always great to me when I was in FaM. One of the only people that listened to me. And I appreciate that. That's all I can really say. I'm sorry for my voice. I'm just now getting over COVID. But let's get on to the next section of the video.
Crasis, to get into you, you're just another bully in the schoolyard type mentality of a character. You're picking on Lars because of what? His looks. You even mentioned that he, sleeps in a NASCAR bed? Get a fucking life, okay? You're a grown-ass man sitting over the internet talking about an autistic person making a 15-minute video. And over here you can see your view rank without FaM to my view rank. But we're gonna get into that. You talked about Lars's views. Who are you to talk about, really, that he doesn't belong in the community? And I'm not gonna lie, I don't care at this point. Nobody does. Everybody cares about somebody in this lifetime, Crasis. You're not the person. You're not in the place to judge anybody else. And since we're on the topic of FaM, instead of worrying about what Lars is doing, why don't you go outside and get some bitches and actually worry about your show? Okay? Cool. And over here, you can see why they don't have a show out. Because they talk all this shit, but they don't actually put a show out, and the only ones working there are probably Pandorino and Sin. Shout out to my boys there. And Nadir, too. And as you can see here, this is a screenshot from October, and you may think everything looks fine. But this was taken in November. So, take that as you may. Alright, let's get back into the video.
Alright, so his opener is clearly strong, but you need more than that to woo a woman off their feet and into your NASCAR bed frame. Vroom vroom, Lars.
Alright, you're talking about NASCAR bed frames and how Lars should be doing this and that and all that good stuff and how he's trying to woo a woman. What you need to be doing is focusing on your life. Who are you to make fun of another human being's looks when you can't even show yours? Okay? And getting into this conversation, Lars did do something wrong here. I won't defend it, I'm not going to justify it. However, there's a lot of context missing. So the one thing I can agree throughout your video with you, and this is probably the only thing we'll ever agree on because I think you're a low-down piece of shit, is Lars did used to come to everybody and used to try and vent his feelings, and maybe a lot of people didn't care. But for me personally, I worked a lot with Lars because you guys were incapable of working with me. I worked a lot with Lars to make the moves list that we later had to redo. And the reason why we had to redo it wasn't because of Lars, I'll tell you that much, it was because of you guys. The reason why me and Lars had to work together so much is because you guys didn't want to work with me because I was the one who had the most maturity and fucking common sense on that team. And you can ask Mayor, you can ask Cody, you can ask any of the members because I was the only one that was listening to them on a daily basis. You guys didn't even bother halfway out of your day to try and talk to them. And we're gonna hear the eyewitness accounts of that later on. Don't think I forgot what you did to Ace, or to Matt, or to anybody else that you fucking screwed over. But regardless, before I go off this topic, let me get into one more thing. You want to get into Merc for being a trucker? That's a bit ridiculous. And you want to talk about how Lars isn't popular without you? Give me a break, man, okay? Give me a break, because you weren't even around. You got fired when the whole martial weapons thing came up. Shut the fuck up. And now we're gonna get into Rom. Rom was a man I respected, and a man I cherished throughout my time on FaM. Probably one of the only people I can say that checked in on me when I was at my lowest mentally. But I just realized now that he needed me to be his graphic designer, because nobody else would do it for him. And let's get into him as a whole. Calling Yin Yang a special child, seen here. Or telling Virgil Snow that not only is his FaM position lost for standing up for his girlfriend, but because of his past he doesn't even get a merit to speak. Or better yet, telling ROX that there shouldn't be a Black Lives Matter show when they're using the platform for good, versus putting themselves in a MAGA Maria type outfit. But hey, you know, c'est la vie. Another day in the Rombuster life. Or getting on Donnie, because Donnie wasn't the best editor at that time. I'll admit I kind of laughed at some of the stuff he was saying at the time, but I never meant it maliciously towards Donnie. I thought it was just ridiculous at the time of what I was hearing. Meaning that I brought Donnie in and he was all gung-ho for him. But hey, let's get into alive abusers, because you can't cancel a dead person, right? Yeah, you go Columbus Day. Woohoo. Shakes my head. Ram Ranch really brings out this show, by the way. This song is dedicated to Rom and all his dick suckers, you know? I know I will not have a BH boner fest like Walton here. This is him comparing Frisco and black people to a dump. Take that as you may, you know? Let me finish taking my dump and I'll see what I can do. Well, okay, finish your Frisco. Basically calling him shit. Now, I've had my problems with Frisco, but like, this is dumbass shit right here. This is grade school level shit. Here's him calling Lars an idiot himself, thus proving that Lars and the whole gang are getting basically interrogated by Rom and his boys. Proof that Rom is in on it too. And here's him bragging that his show will never die and all this shit, and it's pretty shameful. And here he makes another comment towards Seif, but by the way, lets a racist stay in the league in Cash, who me and Seif both told him about. Yeah, I'm on you too. Because Cash, from what Seif was telling me, was saying a lot of racist shit towards Sifo, and you can ask Seif more about that. I think he called him a snow and a lot of shit, man. A lot of shit went on. Especially with the N-word. Ooh. But, you're about to hear some lines from an eyewitness, if you don't believe me.
I entered the car community, still embracing my autism. And for 2 whole years of my life, I have embraced it and have made it become a part of who I am. And I have used it to further push myself to the top of the food chain, to push myself to all these glass ceilings, all these boundaries. I'm pissed off and done with these people. because they are pure examples of stereotype threats. They are pure examples of stereotyping as a whole when it comes to those with autism. They are the true enemies. They say that this new version of F.Y.R.E movement is going to be a movement of peace, a new era, if you will. But the only movement that I see is a movement that will tear the car community to the ground, and they will have absolutely no consequences to deal with because they were the ones on top of the food chain. They were the pioneers of practically every single popular car in the business today. They were the ones that inspired them to do what they do best. They were the ones that inspired them to work day in and day out just to get to the top of the food chain and just to become a part of the big leagues and all the other companies. And that's why I say they're the WWE. Because they can do every single crime in the world, and the worst possible thing they can get is a slap on the wrist. Where people like Lars and I do one simple wrong misdoing, and all of a sudden we get treated like public enemy number one. That is why I'm pissed off. That's why I'm done with F.Y.R.E movement. Because people like us, people like Lars and I, and hell, even people like Deshaun Watson, we get criticized for doing what we love. We get criticized for embracing who we truly are and trying to embrace it into our character, our gimmick that we have spent countless time, countless hours of our days, weeks, months, years, and lives just to perfect, just so we can show to the entire world and somewhat get praised for it. But no matter what we do, no matter what we say, and no matter how many times we try to nip it in the bud, there are still going to be certain individuals that just don't let bygones be bygones, that just don't want to let the flame die out. And I think that until those so-called people finally get it through their thick and arrogant skulls that we've had enough, this war will never be over. And I tried my best to stay out of this situation. I tried my best to keep it in the dark and push it to the side so that way I won't have to deal with all the stress and all the pressure. But as far as I'm concerned, the moment that the words autism came out of those petty ass assaults, all those petty ass insults, they automatically inserted me into this war.
I'm gonna put myself in as an eyewitness for this next part. I was in FaM for a bit actually, a bit of time from March till I left in May or June, and then I came back around July, close to the end of July. I came in there because I didn't feel like I belonged anywhere. I didn't feel like I belonged as a creator in the community currently. And I came there for a new start. And at first, Rom seemed to be welcoming. And the guys weren't, but Rom and I used to talk a lot. I used to consider Rom a friend of mine. Truly. And as time grew on, I grew more and more disillusioned with Rom. I started seeing him for who he truly was, but I didn't realize it at the time. Constantly, I would go to Mayor, Lob Mob, and I would vent my frustrations. I would see them, the higher powers, currently leadership in FaM, make fun of people all the time. I've seen them make comments towards Jimmy Kane, I've seen them make comments towards Bash, I've seen them make comments all the time towards various people on that show. Various people. And I know this sounds like hearsay coming from me,
but I hope I have enough evidence in the past slides to maybe convince you of that. I was once a headmaster on that show, but even then, those chats were hidden to me. I didn't know about them until after I left FAM. And even then, I was trying to compile my evidence in order to expose this. Seeing what it's become, the amount of work I did, the graphics I did, as you can see on screen, it hurts, you know. I put a lot of effort into recruiting people into FaM. You can ask Donnie, you can ask not only Donnie, but Max Harleton, I got him in. You can ask Devontae Blake Ryan, you can ask anybody I was talking to at that time. I was trying to bring in to build the new FAM. Maya Lennox, Aubrey, Scarlett. I was building probably the next empire, the next age for FAM as we speak. And I was working on building that for everybody, not just myself, but to give people like myself that wanted an opportunity so bad a chance. In the process, at points I felt like I sold out my soul. When I was there, at first I felt alive because I thought that people were appreciating my talent for the first time. That people can see, oh, he's a great editor, he's a great producer. Give him a chance. And that's all I've ever wanted, was one chance. I felt like I got that there, but when I discovered the evils and discovered like the different shit going on there and the immaturity and like the fact that I had to reorganize their tier system multiple times in order to get it to work because nobody wanted to follow it, because Rom perverted it, breaks me down. I did everything in my power to make Forever a movement better, for not just the new generation, but for the older ones as well. I stood up countless hours making the pay-per-view designs, from Requiem to Pandora to the Rumble to you name it, I did it. They wouldn't listen to me when it came to custom championship designs. They wouldn't listen to me when it came to booking ideas. They wouldn't listen to me when it came to anything. And I'll give credit to DNA for one thing. He was probably, him and Nova are probably the only two, and Nadir. Throughout this video, you haven't seen any of Nadir. Nadir is innocent of everything. But regardless, what we're gonna get into is nobody else listened. I spoke to Nadir multiple times. Nadir and I agree on a lot. That FAM isn't running in the best direction. But for me, Nadir Darren is one of the nicest people I've ever met. Him and Luke Monet, definitely nice people. What I'm trying to say is that there are some very nice people in FAM. From Nadir to Kingdom to Sin, I love Sin, to Harm, to... There's a lot of great guys like Masslingster. But while you have that, you also have your bad. And the bad can't be fixed without addressing it. This is my way of trying to address that to you. That possibly that you might change. That you see the error of your ways and try to fix that. And I understand the video comes off as aggressive, but like, what you're doing needs to be exposed. You can't just talk shit about autistic people. You can't just talk blatant homophobia. You can't just like ignore your member because of their past and because they're telling you this bothers them. You need to take action as a leader. And I understand you're gonna make a little response video to this ROM. I understand that I'm gonna have a target on my head. Cool. You know, you're gonna expose some DMs about me. Cool. I don't really have anything to expose. So that's why I'm coming at you with this. I don't have anything to expose because I was a genuinely good person. I didn't bother nobody. I helped people. From Jerick's, the guys you don't pay attention to. I helped Jerick's, Lars, Phantasm. I've helped a bunch of people while there, even if they don't know it. And of course, we're not going to get into the fact that you guys used to make fun of Alatar all the time, but now he's back editing for you. It's just heavily ridiculous that you have the nerve to call people idiots, autistic, excuse my French, and everything else, when in reality, that's who you guys are. You guys are idiots. You guys are stupid. You need to learn how to treat people. And I'm hoping with this video, this can be a bit of a wake-up call for you in order to fix that. I doubt it, because this is who you truly are. And this isn't about Alex for me. I can care less about BH right now. This isn't about FAM's past or like how Bash had to carry you in 2015. This is about the present and the truth. And the truth of the matter is, this isn't it. You need to do better as adults, and you need to do better for your respective community. Thank you.
Where do you start with me? I guess you go 4+ years ago, when I was about 15, 16 years old, in a time of major depression in my life. First thing I see in FAM, I see amazing content, amazing creativity, awesome looking custom characters. God, when I first saw that, I wanted to be part of it so bad. But you know what? They say never meet your heroes, because they'll only disappoint. And holy shit, that phrase works so fucking well here. If I can go back now and tell my 16-year-old self one thing, is fuck FAM. That's one thing I wish I would say. Because what's been transpiring these past few months only brings fuck the movement to real life. Let's see. About October 9th, Tommy gives me a call saying, get out of FAM. They're treating you like shit. And I say, what the fuck is going on? And he shows me all the dirt. He shows me the secret chats you guys have to talk about me and many other people behind our back. To talk shit about all of us. To even make fun of Azrael for his language issues. To make fun of people with mental illnesses like myself and Eric. And obviously DNA does whatever stupid shit he does. He's not even worth going in 30 seconds for. Oh boy, where else do you go? Oh yeah, Rom, if you ever watch this, I still stand by what I said. I don't care if you didn't say anything or not. You're the fucking leader. You're the one sitting back and not doing a fucking thing about this bullshit. But that's what you normally do anyway. You just sit back, you don't pay attention to the drama, you just focus on the storylines that you want to do for shows. God, I wish BH was here right now to tell you how disappointed he'd probably be. But you know what? I'm not even gonna go into that. It's not even worth the going into there, because I've told them about the dirt too. And you know what? When you guys see this video, you'll probably be like, oh no, oh hell nah. They crossed the line here, nah, they deserve to go down. Sure, we'll go with this video as crossing the line. Sure, we crossed the line. Sure, you guys didn't cross the line when you made those secret chats to talk shit and make so many petty and offensive remarks behind people's back. Sure, you didn't cross the line there. Sure, DNA didn't cross the line for blaming a woman's suicidal thoughts upon Virgil. Sure, he didn't cross the line there. Sure, Rom, you didn't cross the line for defending DNA in what he said. Sure, you didn't cross the line there. And sure, all the people that have been defending you and everyone there, all the higher-ups, sure, y'all didn't cross the line. Sure. And honestly, I don't care who didn't say what. Y'all are just as guilty if y'all just sat back and did nothing like Rom. But no, we'll go with this video as crossing the line. We'll go with me crossing the line. Sure, we'll go with Deshaun Shoot crossing the line. That's how you guys work. You guys just twist the words, do whatever it takes to make you guys look like the innocent ones. You gotta do whatever it takes to make sure you all look good for all the 2K games and shit. You gotta make sure that you look real nice so when they suck your dick, they don't see the dirt on the face. Y'all are scum. Y'all are really just something else. And honestly, I'd yell, I would curse, I would do all of that. But honestly, y'all ain't even worth that. Way too tired to care about any of you. I'm done caring about all your stupid shit. Y'all can say whatever the fuck you want, your word means absolutely fucking nothing to me. In closing, fuck the movement, fuck the martial weapons, fuck all the bullshit I've gone through because of you motherfuckers. And as far as I'm concerned with my character, y'all can try and do whatever the fuck you want with it, but I'm definitely gonna report for using my content. Good luck. You guys are gonna need it.
My experience with Forever Movement from beginning to end was obviously a mixed bag. I am going to tell a longer story of my personal journey within FaM at some point in time, possibly during this week. But to make a long story short, FaM, obviously, as everybody knows, is the quote-unquote top dog in the CAW community. While that is arguably true, there are obviously other shows in the community that people enjoy, my show being one of them. But we're not here to talk about my show, we're not here to talk about anybody else's, we're here to talk about Forever a Movement. Now, I was brought in as one of the recorders and sound editors and on occasion a visual editor for whatever, around March, April, somewhere around there. And for the first, 3-4 months, maybe 5, when I was in the FaM Discord server, everything was fine, aside from the few obvious problems on social media. But then it all came down to toxicity within the server. But I'll get to that in a moment, because I'm here to talk about, what I was doing in FaM. Basically, as I just said, I was one of the recorders, one of the guys who filmed scenes, filmed a match or two, filmed the Requiem main event, and to be very honest, with the way they record matches over there in FaM, I straight up told Rom when I first started, I don't like doing matches via a script. I'm willing to give it a chance, but I don't like it because that's just not the way I record. Because I'm the kind of person who believes if a matchup is not good on paper, 9 times out of 10 it's not going to be good on screen. With the matches that I helped record for this new season, I guess you could say season 5 of FaM, the matches that I helped record or helped write a script for, honestly, knowing from seeing the matches myself, they are not all that great. Which in turn would probably mean that FaM Requiem, the entirety of it, especially the match that I helped edit, is not going to be great at all. Now, as far as the toxicity goes, inside and outside of the server, FaM people, a few in particular, that I'm not going to name until my entire FAM journey story comes out. They are as toxic can get, and they are some of the more disrespectful bad apples, I guess you could say, of the CAW community that don't give a fuck who says what about them in a negative light on their end. And ROM, more or less, despite being the leader of the server, just lets the shit go, brushes it off, shoves it under the rug, and tosses it to the side as if nothing is wrong with the picture that his members are portraying. Yes, he may be a school teacher, but he's also a CAW League leader. And as a leader, you should have enough intestinal and testicular fortitude to tell your members to cut the shit out. And the fact that they have not, especially in my case, because most of the members of FAM I never really either knew all that well or never really had much of a problem with, they seem to have a big habit of coming for me when I rarely have said anything about them, and whatever I have said about them, I more or less spoke my mind and was honest. And if they don't like honesty, then honestly they don't need to be a part of the CAW community anymore. FAM truthfully doesn't need to exist no more if they can't handle the truth. And to quote R-Truth, the truth will set you free. I hate that it had to come to this, and my little journey story in FAM will provide a little bit more insight, but overall, I still respect ROM to a small degree, but in all honesty, in this day and age, I feel like ROM has become, for lack of better terms, a spineless coward that refuses to do anything about what his members have said and done to people like me and people I associate with. Once my little insight video comes out at some point this week, this month, whatever, I'm sure that the whole story that I have will shed some light on the subject that is Forever a Movement, as well as personal experiences involving myself, which I will tell more of after. Outside of that, this has been Deshaun Walton, the man, not the CAW, not the character, not the wrestler, the man. And hopefully after something like this airs, you guys will become more self-aware, self-minded thinkers and not become puppets like the majority of the FAM server have become.